In more of a surprise move, the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) has directed telecommunications companies to immediately restore all phone lines barred due to the unverified national identification numbers linked to SIMs. The decision comes after millions of subscribers were cut off from telecommunication services over the weekend, sparking widespread frustration and speculation about the government's motives.
The NCC had given telecom operators a July 31st deadline to bar all lines with unverified NINs. However, the regulator has now extended the deadline, giving subscribers more time to complete the NIN verification process. This morning, we're joined by the chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria, ALTON, Benga Adebayo. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Can you talk to us about why exactly we have had this happen over and over again? We've had calls for people to link their NIN to their SIM, and even in situations where many said they have obliged and they've gone to actually link their NIN to their SIMs, there have been documentations or there have been records of their line being actually barred. So maybe can you talk to us about why this keeps happening over and over again and what it's telling about us?
We have been on this journey since 2020, and the directive has been issued that people should link their SIM registration record with us, with their NIN record with the National Identity Management Commission database. And over, we've made announcement, we've made notification asking people to go and link their SIM record with us with their NIN record. But unfortunately, a lot of people didn't comply. And we came to the end of it by April this year, but we saw 3 months extension from the regulator, and they granted us extension at the 1st of July. So what we have seen happen in the last few days is an attempt to comply with the regulatory directive to buy any line that doesn't have NIN integrated with their records, and have them go and do so before they are unbarred. So the action that took place has been before this discussion around protest or no protest, and it has nothing to do whatsoever with the protest. And that's where we are. It's just unfortunate that over and over again, despite of the series of notifications being given to people, a number of people have just refused to go and have their NIN record linked with their SIM record, and it's just not working. And that's where we go to where we go to.
Yeah, I mean, but can you also share with us, what the numbers are like? What is the backlog, the number of subscribers that still have not been linked to their NINs, that were cut off?
We might be looking at something in the region of about 20 million subscribers across the network. Again, that's subject to confirmation from the record provided to our regulator. But the number is quite significant. But what has happened over the weekend is that the impact is on about 5-6 million subscribers over the last weekend. And I think unless we all agree that this is something that we have to do in our national interest, we will see where we are. At some point, we need to draw the line on this NIN-SIM linkage. And I will tell you what we are seeing. People are saying that they have done their linkage, they have done this, they have done that. But a number of them are not verified. And when the verification doesn't take place, as far as the primary ID is concerned, which is the NIN-SIM database, the record is invalid. So what we are asked to do is whenever you get those notifications that you have to go and link go and do it. You find out that when they eventually go to those centers to do the verification, something wasn't right in the initial record provided. And as far as we are concerned, the SIM record with us is just a secondary record. The primary record against which this should be matched is the NIN-SIM record, which is the primary identity for everyone.
So what you're saying is that at least 5 million people had to be cut off over the weekend?
Yeah, in the region of about 5-6 million, plus 5 million were cut off over the weekend. But we had the CBS directive to reconnect them, and those numbers are now being restored. They needs to be only for a short time. It won't be like this forever. But at some point, we must come to a point where we all can proudly say we have a reliable national database, and that's where we're heading towards.
Do you have an understanding, or do we have a clear perspective as to the effect this temporary disconnection may have caused over the course of the weekend in terms of businesses, individuals who maybe had emergencies that could not be attended to? And, you know, are there ways that we can ensure that this doesn't happen again?
We saw the reactions. We are not able to measure the impact because, again, it's only individuals that know how this affects them. But we saw the reaction by people going to experience centers, to destroy experience centers, to vandalize equipment there, to harass the staff. We have a few cases of injury on some of those locations, which is quite unfortunate. Because there's no one whose number was disconnected over the weekend who would not say they have not received continuous notification about the need to go and verify the NIN record. There's no one who will say so. And there's no one who can come back to us after they have gone to do those verifications that will say when they got that they didn't find anything wrong with their records. Always there's something that has to be done, and there's something that needs to be done. And so in terms of the impact on the people, I can't gauge that. All we can measure is the reaction that we have seen. And that's the kind of reaction we saw at the various centers yesterday, and the tension that it created, damages that followed on the various centers is quite unfortunate.
Is it also, I mean, from what the reaction that you saw yesterday, because 5 million people is quite a lot, 6 million, that's a lot of people to have been disconnected, and that includes businesses as well. Is it, you know, also possible, you know, is this, you know, starting to become a consideration that maybe this linkage can be done through other means? Individuals can do it at home. Maybe there's a website that you can go and link it by yourself, you know, that doesn't have continuous errors and frustrates you. And maybe you could also have vendors, telco vendors, help link citizens or subscribers. Is there a consideration like that, or do we always need to have people pile at these telecom offices?
There are many options and many channels by which you can link your NIN with your SIM. There are many of them. A lot of self-help services are available on the various operators platform and also on the platform of the NIN-SIM authorities. But the fact remains that when you do your linkage, you link your SIM record with your NIN record. And there's a need to do something in terms of harmonizing the data. You still need to visit the experience center. And I will tell you what my personal experience was about 2 weeks ago. I had an old number that I hardly used, but suddenly I realized that the number was disconnected. I went myself personally to the experience center to have that verification because I wanted to know what exactly is the matter. I've done the linkage a few times. Each time it says to me, it has been linked, but visit an experience center. It has been linked, or visit a center. And so I went 2 weeks ago. And I found out that all records harmonized except my photograph. The photograph of the person that is on the record was my IT staff who got the number for me in 2016. And we're also seeing is that the number of the seniors who are complaining, when they get to the experience, they will find something wrong with their record, either something not correct with their date of birth, something not correct with their name or an arrangement of their name, or something not correct with their photograph or something. There's certainly a need to do something. So the problem is not in the linkage of NIN and SIM itself. It's in the verification where there is a call to action. That's what people have refused to do. So people sit back to say, you know what, I have done it, I have done that. But they kept getting notification, come and do your verification, come and do your verification. People just refuse to do that. It is at the point of doing the verification that they will know what exactly is wrong with the record. Because as I said, the SIM record is the secondary record, the NIN record is actually the primary record. And these two have to agree. So the records have to be the same, be it photograph, be it order of name, be it date of birth, and as the case may be. So what we are seeing is that people's records do not agree on both sides. So when they attempt to do the linking, it's still said to them, this and experience, and then they will come to say, I have done the linkage, so what is? Until when they go there, maybe there's something has to be done with their biometrics or their photograph or other information that they provided, there's certainly a need to visit the center. So yes, there are lots of self-help services available, but when people do that and they still get a request to visit an experience center or request to go and harmonize it, they need to attend to that call to action.
So we are talking about, I mean, you've just mentioned that there are people who, regardless of the several promptings to go and do the registration, do not show up until maybe the very dying minute. But I think that part of it is maybe because some people do not see the importance. So again, can you please walk us through why it is important and necessary for this linkage to happen?
First, as a country, we cannot continue without having reliable national database. And the bedrock of digital economy, anywhere in the world, It's reliability of the database of which people are identifiable. You can imagine what it will be, how much trust it will build in our systems by doing financial transactions and other related economic transactions. If I am certain that the fellow at the other end is who he or she says he or she is. Today, you have a lot of cases, things happening online, and people are not identifiable because the SIM card they have used for that kind of transaction is not seen and all that, or is not verified and all of that. So we need to come to a point where the critical infrastructure that we require, which is this national database, is reliable, is dependable, and is robust enough that it can sit, it can become the bedrock for our digital economy. Because you can't talk about digital economy without having credible and reliable national database. That's one. Number two, over the years, we've been talking about the security implication of not knowing who people are at the other end. So there are two sides to it. There's the economic implication and there's also the security implication. And we must know who is at the other end of the call. It's very, very important. Without the reliable national database, we cannot identify ourselves and we cannot build the global digital economy that we aim to become as a nation.
I want to also ask, now we've talked about 5-6 million people, because that number really, bothers me. There has now been the extension, I believe. So can you share with us, if there's a new deadline that has been given by the NCC for these lines to be linked to their NINs? And are telco companies in Nigeria willing to let go of 5 to 6 million subscribers permanently if these Nigerians do not eventually go ahead and link their NINs to their SIMs? And how much damage will that, really bring to businesses?
But let me speak to it from the last one, and that is whether we want to let go of 5-6 million or more subscribers. The answer to that is yes. We wish to have them on the networks, but we want them to be identifiable. Because even for the protection of our own business and for the integrity of the national network, we must know to whom we are providing these services. We must know the people who are actually using these services. And it is only when you know who are the people on the services, who are using the service, who are identifiable on those lines, that you can build significant growth. Without knowing who are you are sitting on what we call a false background, a false ground. And so in that regard, to us, when you look at the security implication of not knowing who's on the network, we look at the social implication of we providing service to people that are not identifiable. We would rather let go with 5 million plus subscribers than insisting on having them. That's on that side. On the other side, in terms of the tenure of the extension of time, it's only a temporary lifting because of the implication of what we are currently going through as a country. We haven't had a deadline to that, but the deadline of 31st July subsists. We have only been asked to suspend the action, but I don't see that lasting for long. So the advice is that people should please go and link their NIN with their SIM records. If they don't have using the same service and there is a call to action, they should please do a follow-up action by going to those centers to complete that process, and so we can have they can have their services restored.
Of the success of the previous linkage that had been done for subscribers who have so far linked their NIN to their SIM, do we have a huge record of success stories of how that has helped digital security?
Yes, so we have quite a number, and we must thank those who have followed the process, including people like you and I. But to see, if you have 100 million good oranges, and you have a few bad in them, I mean, the few bad ones can destroy the entire group. And that's why we're saying that it is not over till it's over. It's not complete until everybody is identifiable and until everybody is fully registered. So it's something that we must own as a people. We must allow this process to happen. We must embrace the process for the greater good of both our national security and our digital economy.
I would like to also throw some light on some of the controversies that have arisen as a result of the disconnection that happened over the weekend. We've seen people who have alluded to the fact that there might be some subtle underlying motives. I want you to throw some light, especially because they think that the government has some mischief up their sleeve. So please throw some light as to the government's involvement or not, their lack of involvement in this disconnection. And just to quickly add, part of the speculation...
There is no such...
Sorry, if I may add, Part of the speculation is that this has happened because they were in some way trying to ensure that the protest doesn't happen. These are one of the speculations that we've seen flying around.
There is no truth in the claim that the disconnection of service over the weekend is because of the planned protest. And we have issued a clear statement to that effect yesterday as an industry. The fact remains that the deadline was set for end of April this year. We sought extension of time from our regulator and it was granted to 31st of July. 31st of July is just a few days away. And regulator has said prior to now that we need to comply with the said extension. And that's what we are doing. So I would say it's more of coincidental, but the people who want to propagate bad news and who want to create fear in people, they link this with the planned protest. It has nothing to do with it because records are there that this exercise was meant to end of April this year. The records are there that we got a 3-month extension with the lapse of the 1st of July. So this has been something that has been ongoing before the planned protest. So it has nothing to do with the protest at all. And as service provider, we provide service for people on non-discriminating basis, irrespective of your political or cultural or religious affiliation. Our contract with our social contract with subscribers is to provide services to all persons in all places at all times without any form of discrimination whatsoever and whatsoever. So whichever side of the divide we belong, we are obliged to provide the services, and that's what we do. So we have no part in the said protest. We are not under any instructions or under any obligation to work or support any of the sides. And ours is just to provide services. The issue of NIN-SIM and disconnection that took over the weekend has nothing to do with the planned protest at all. And we've said that we can make clear yesterday.
Is there any clarity as to why it happened before the 31st?
Yeah, because we've been on it. We've been on this journey since 2020. And each time the deadline is set because of non-compliance, when we look at the numbers, we look at the statistics, we have feedback to the regulators, they give us some extension, some extension, some extension. Another one was actually aimed to end at the 1st of December last year, but we sought extension until April. And it was at the end of April that we went back to the regulator and said we still need a bit more time to have this complete. And they gave another 3-month extension until that 1st of July. And I must say to the public that at some point, we must draw the line on this harmonization of SIM. And we can't continue on this road, same road forever. So whatever extension of time is granted now, be that as it may, when we come to that point, we may not have any further extension. So I will go to appeal to people who have not linked their name with their SIM to please do so, following any of the options available. When there is a need for call to action after that has been done, they should please do a follow-up action by completing the process by visiting an experience center.
Benga Adebayo, thank you very much for your time this morning and, of course, for providing some clarity with the NIN-SIM registration. We hope that, of course, many more Nigerians get theirs linked and, we prevent, a recurrence of what we've seen over the weekend and yesterday. Thanks for your time and we wish you a beautiful day ahead.